Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Blu-Roy Movies. It's Sunday morning, which can only mean one thing. It's time for my weekly watches. Been a busy week this week. Well, not really busy. Couch potato week. 10 movies. I think one more than last week. So without further ado, let's get into it and let's see what I've watched. First watch of the week, last Sunday. The British comedy classic, A Fish Called Wanda. Really, really good stuff. You got John Cleese, you got Jamie Lee Curtis, you got Kevin Kline, you've got Michael Palin. It all hinges on the whereabouts of a key that's to a safety deposit box with a load of diamonds. And you get really, really good fun. Jamie Lee Curtis, she's playing all the men off against each other. And it's all backstabbing, great crime caper as to who's going to get the key, who's going to get the diamonds. If you've not seen it before, really, really good watch. I'm fortunate enough to get this one in CX. It's long out of print. They had it in our shop. It was a tenner. I was happy to pay that. I had vouchers. I didn't want to pay postage, so I was quite pleased when that turned up in the store. Yeah, it's A Fish Called Wanda. Next up, we have Fritz Lang's masterpiece M. Now I say masterpiece, but I was watching Goose's movie yesterday, Goose's reviews, and he'd watched Metropolis, and he rightly called Metropolis Fritz Lang's masterpiece. Now my question is, can a director have two masterpieces, or is masterpiece, as in definition, the director's crowning glory? I don't know. If you can only have one, I think it's very close between M and Metropolis, but M is a brilliant, brilliant film. It's Lang's first talkie, directed in 1931, and it all follows in Berlin. There's a child killer who's going around abducting, killing kids, and more or less the whole city's on edge. Kids aren't going anywhere. Even the criminal, there's that much police presence on the streets that the criminals are not happy because the police are interfering with their work. They can't get any of their decent crime done because the police are everywhere. So they're trying to catch him. The police are trying to catch him. And at one stage, there's a scene, it keeps splitting between the two, where the criminals, they're all having a meeting about how they're going to do it, and then it interlaces with the police chiefs and detectives. They're having their meeting at the same time, and it's much the same dialogue across the two meetings, but from different spectrums. Yeah, really, really good. Peter Lorre is brilliant as the murderer, and the way it ends up with the kangaroo court, really, really great. This was Lang's last film before he defected to United States. As I say, this was 1931. Then, with the uprising of the Nazi Socialist Party, he defected to the States because he was a Jew, and then his wife joined the Nazi Party. So, yeah, that must have been an interesting marriage. That's Fritz Lang's out. If you haven't watched that, really, really one of the best films ever. Next up, I watched Rawhead Rex. Now, if you watched my Arrow video the other day, I said on there that Arrow, for the good they do, some of the titles aren't the best, and unfortunately this is one of them. This is about the set in the 80s, well, it's an 80s film, I believe. There's a thunderstorm, lightning strikes this monolith, and it unleashes this beast upon the town, which is a bloke in a rubber suit with a mask on that you can get from Asda. Yeah, it's a load of crap. Bad acting, bad special effects, dull story. You've seen it all before. This ain't one I'm going to keep in my collection, I'm afraid. I think it trades in for £6 at CX, so I'll move it on for something that I do want. Yeah, it's Rawhead Rex. Can't really recommend it. It has got a cult status, so I believe some people must like it. If they do, all power to them, but it definitely wasn't for me. Next up, back on the MCU trail. Rewatch Avengers Assemble. Very good, enjoyed it. Everybody's seen it. Probably the best in the series so far. Really, really good. The way they stopped the alien invasion. Loki, he was made to be the villain for that. Wouldn't mind seeing him as James Bond. Yeah, really, really good stuff. You've all seen Avengers Assemble. Next up was from the Criterion Collection. I watched The Heiress. I think this was 1949. Directed. This is directed by William Wyler, more famous for Ben-Hur. And yeah, this really, really good stuff. This is all about this lady here, played by Olivia de Havilland. She's lives with her doctor father, played by Ralph Richardson, who you've seen a lot of before. He's been in many, many films. She's plain and dowdy, which they've done a great job of making her plain and dowdy, because in real life Olivia was a beautiful lady. And she gets involved with Montgomery Clift. Now, it's plain as the water on the end of her nose that Montgomery Clift is only after her because she's the heiress to her dad's money. She's already getting her mum's money that she's already passed away. And everybody's telling her that he's only gold digging, but she's not listening. Yeah, it's really, really interesting stuff. It all comes to a head in the end, and how it ended, de Havilland, she got a lot of hate mail because Montgomery Clift, he was the big heartthrob at the time. And he went on, he had a tragic life, Montgomery. He had a bad car crash, suffered a lot of injuries, which he never fully recovered from. Drug, alcoholism problems. He couldn't come to terms with his sexuality. He tragically died of a heart attack just age 45, which in comparison, de Havilland, she died in 1920, the ripe old age of 104. So yeah, really, really good stuff. The Heiress, brilliant acting, brilliant story. Zooms along. Give that one a watch. Next up was Iron Man 3, back on the MCU trail. This was just alright. I didn't mind the story of the main bad guy being just an actor in it. I thought that was quite humorous. I know a lot of people up in arms about that, but yes, Iron Man 3, you've all seen it. Mid-level MCU, I'd say. Next on the trail, Deep Impact, which come out exactly the same year as Armageddon. Exactly the same story. The two were vying against each other. I prefer Armageddon, but this was alright. Robert Duvall, Elijah Wood, Morgan Freeman as the president, which brilliant president I thought he portrayed. Special effects were okay for the time, I suppose. Yeah, it's good, engaging. Not as much fun as Armageddon, but it passes a couple of hours. I'm glad to pick that one up. Oh, excuse me, made the cat jump then. Next up was From Here to Eternity. Not another great film. I think it was winner of 8 Oscars, including Best Picture, directed by Frank Zinnemann, I believe. Great cast. My favourite, Burt Lancaster. My second Montgomery Clift film of the week, Deborah Kerr, Donna Reed, Frank Sinatra as a cheeky Italian-American soldier. Yeah, really, really good stuff. Burt Lancaster, he's the sergeant. He's having an affair with the captain's wife, played by Deborah Kerr. Montgomery Clift, he's just joined the unit. He's an ex-boxer, but in a fight he'd blinded somebody, so he doesn't want to fight again. The captain, he's also like head of the unit's boxing team, and he's desperately trying to get Clift to box again. So much so that he's putting his life through hell. It's really, really good stuff. Really enjoy it. I'd say that's probably top 50 films for me, from here to eternity. Wonderful, wonderful film. After that, I delved into my Stanley Kubrick box set for a first time watch of Lolita from 1962. Really, really interesting stuff. Stars James Mason. He's a doctor. He remarries and starts having an affair with his wife's 14-year-old daughter, and is such a despicable character in this. So convoluting, controlling, heinous. You just hate him, which he's doing a good job with the character. And the further on he gets, he changes. Well, at the start he's this nice guy, and he gets more and more horrible as it goes along. Really worth watching if you haven't seen it before. There's also Peter Sellers in here. He plays about 3 different parts in here because he's in disguise, and he steals the show, as you can imagine. Only Peter Sellers could, and you can see how Kubrick got the idea of then putting him in Doctor Strangelove in different parts. Yeah, really recommend Lolita. Now I want to watch the 80s version with Jeremy Irons in the main part now, so I'll be interested to check that out. Yeah, really good, Stanley Kubrick's Lolita. If you haven't watched that one, I think it's like one that a lot of people haven't seen. Give it a go. And last night we finished off the family Kill Bill Volume 2. Been going through my son all the Tarantinos because he hadn't seen them before, and he's loving every one. And this one was no less exception for him. For me, it's not as good as Volume 1, but it's still a great film, and I love the way it ended. Yeah, so that's everything I watched this week. As you can see, it's been a busy week, and me being not very busy really, but what's new? So yeah, thanks very much for watching. Like if you've liked, give us a thumbs up and all that. You all take care, and I'll see you all again on the next one. Goodbye.